My name is Ben O'Rourke. I'm an obstacle course racer and I train out of City Fit shop here in Edmonton, Alberta. So in City Fit shop we have a lot of different equipment. We have a lot of cardio equipment to help with running. We have incline trainers, so in obstacle course racing there's a lot of hills. So it's a great way to train. The incline goes up to about 30% in this section, and we have a lot of different weights and boxes typically to help with a lot of leg exercises that you'll get in obstacle course racing. Then we have another section in the gym specific to obstacles. So it's great practice what you'll see in a race. So we have the different walls, different rigs and monkey bars and rope climbs. So it's great place to practice your obstacles. Just to kind of get into the feel, a lot of the obstacles you don't get to practice at your typical gym. So here we get to really see what the obstacles are like, train for them. And then that way you get more proficient at the obstacles and you get better at them. Why I chose to do obstacle course racing, it's funny, my friend from soccer actually told me about one of the races. And I did it. I thought I would be good at it because I used to do a lot of weight training and running. Did my first race and I didn't do too well, so it's something I wanted to get better at. I love the obstacles, the different challenges that the different obstacles presented. So swinging on the rigs and stuff like that, I wasn't very good at the start. It requires a lot of grip strength. So I just fell in love with it, and then I started signing up for more races. Started getting into the community. It's a wonderful community here. In Alberta, we have a team called the Hurting Albertans. And then I got to meet more people, do more races, and I just fell in love with it. It takes up a lot of time, the training, so you have to master each obstacle, different obstacles, and there's so many different sides to the sport. You're running on your obstacles that you have to master a lot, so it does take time. I personally do a lot of races as well, so my schedule is quite full. But I have a fiance and a little 2-year-old son. So time away from them is hard. But yeah, overall I find that family and friends are supportive. It's something new that I'm doing. Anytime I need support or I have to ask questions, they're always there to support me. So to balance work, training and social life, it can be difficult sometimes. As I mentioned, I do have a little son and a fiance as well, so I have to make sure I have time with them. I have a full-time job as well at the university, and then I actually train out of here at City Fit shop as well. It can be hard. It's picking and choosing when to train and how often to train. Typically I try and train in the morning before my son is up, or in the evening. Myself and my fiance have a great app that we coordinate our schedules as well, because she's a pretty full schedule. But yeah, it's making sure that you're having fun during your training, making sure that you spend enough time with your family, and then at work as well. It's just dedicating the right amount of time to each thing that you have to do. Sometimes if I have to miss a training session to spend time with my family, I don't mind doing that, because family comes first to me. Yeah, so last week I participated in the XWire Challenge. It's a new stadium race. It was the second event of its type. It's run by one of the guys you know, Darcy Shalafo, and he set up the event last year. It's a stadium race, so it's a little bit different from your typical trail OCR. There's a lot of stairs, a lot of concrete running, so it was very quick. Definitely a runner's race. They had a lot of different obstacles, like the 8-foot wall. These days race directors are making obstacle races a little bit harder, so they're making the top of the wall a little bit thicker, harder to climb. But yeah, it's a great race. A lot of the community came out. I ended up finishing 6th in that race, so I was quite happy with the finish. A lot of the top OCR guys in Alberta came out for that one, and yeah, it was a great run race. Some new obstacles like tip of the spear, which is great. We actually have it here at City Fit shop, so we can practice it. So you just have to climb across. There's different holds, so you just come up to the wall. You want to stay nice and low, come across. So seeing all these new different obstacles, is great up here in Western Canada, because sometimes we've been lacking these obstacles. So a new race like X-Warrior is great to see, because it challenges us, gives us more options to race. But yeah, it's a very fun race. So the feeling you get when you win a race or achieve your goal, it's fantastic. Before this race, my goal was to get a top 10, because I knew a lot of the top guys in Alberta were going to be there. So I was aiming for top 10. I got top 6, which meant I qualified for the Obstacle Course Race World Championships, which I participated in last year. So that was a big goal coming into this year. The great thing about OCR as well, it's challenged me to get better at running. So I've been able to win a lot of local trail races and road races due to OCR. What I do to make my training different from other athletes, I tend to focus on my running a lot. A lot of the athletes now don't use treadmills. Like, we typically tend to stay outside on trails, but I like to use the treadmill to do some speed work. So I go up do my 5K pace, do about 10 intervals there, and then come back. So I know a lot of people don't like using the treadmill, but I think it's a great way to incorporate into your training. I also like to use the treadmill, and then here at City Fit Shop, crank the incline up, maybe stay on it for about 2 minutes, and then come and do an obstacle like this, like the Stairway to Heaven. This one you will see at OCRWC, which is the Obstacle Course Racing World Championships. So you have to go across and use your grip strength to come down. So a facility like City Fit Shop is great to have, because you have all the specific obstacles that you will see at the biggest races, the World Championships, races like X-Warrior as well. The great thing about OCR is you will find your weaknesses. Personally, I have a lot of trouble with these rings, getting through them. So it took me a lot of practice to get through them. What you have to do is, it is the feeling of disappointment, but the community that we have, they support you, they tell you what to do right. You kind of ask questions, learn from your mistakes in the past, go again, and then try again. It's about being realistic. You're not going to complete everything you set out to do at the start, but if you persevere and keep going, then you will end up getting what you want. The reason why I encourage other people to try out this sport is because it does keep you fit and active. It incorporates all aspects of fitness. You got your running, strength. You need some strength training and endurance. So it kind of gets people off the couch. It's fun too. You get to play in the mud, practice around on some obstacles, lift heavy things. The community as well is very friendly, so you get to meet new people. It's almost like a family community. I mentioned the Hurton Albertans, we have a team here, so every time I go to a race, other people are there to support each other and just have a good time. So it's good for also mental health as well as your physical health. You might be able to run a 30-minute pace on a road, but when you get to an obstacle course race and you have to lift something heavy, you can't get back to that pace that you know you're able to run. So it's really mentally challenging as well as physically. It makes your muscles burn, really taxes your lungs, and just an all-around level of fitness. It's the most complete level of fitness I've ever had since doing this sport. So that's what really appeals to me. Keeps me fit and healthy and helps me set goals and keep pushing through to achieve what I want to achieve. So what I've learned about myself through my athletic journey is that I can kind of push more than I think in my head mentally. So sometimes you get those negative thoughts in your head, oh, I haven't trained well enough, I'm not good enough to do this. When I first started running, that was always an issue. definitely thinking I can't go as fast as I can, but thinking back to what you've done to train, kind of pushing through that mental barrier is what I've learned to do. Kind of push the pace, and always thinking it's only one race, it will end, the suffering won't keep on going, so it's always trying to just push that pace to do as the best I can. So my approach to training, it's very varied. I like to do 5 to 6 running days a week. That varies between some hill training. I like to do 2 interval trainings, so a lot of sprints. 1 or 2 minutes on, 30 seconds off. Then 2 days of hill. So 1 long day where you're just running up and down the hill, and 1 sprint on the hill. And then I like to do a long run as well, because the distance in this sport varies. And then typically adding about 3 to 4 strength days. So I like to do 2 leg days a week, and then maybe 1 to 2 obstacle specific training days. So where you're doing your grip strength, where you're practicing on the obstacles, the different monkey bars, different things like that. On my leg days, I like to do a lot of single leg work. So it's in mid-season, I don't want to build too much strength at the minute. So I do a lot of single leg lunges and squats like that, just to work on those imbalances. And then I like to throw in some agility stuff for the trail running, because it works different muscles. Just making sure you're getting the different stability and stabilizer muscles as well. The tools that I personally use for helping me to train, I use a GPS watch, so it's a Garmin watch. It tracks where I run. It just gives me my pace. It gives me the distance that I've gone. It just gives me an idea of how fast I'm running and what I need to work on. And then also my phone, I have a Strava app, so the app, you bring it up. It shows you all your different friends that you're following and what runs they're doing, so you can follow them along. You go into your own profile and it shows your previous runs. So just talking about X-Warrior Challenge last week, I can go into that, and we have to scroll down because it's from last week. But yeah, you can add pictures. It's kind of like a social media app for running, so you see what other people are doing. I've added some pictures talking about X-Warrior. And the cool thing about Strava is, as well, it's showing my X-Warrior run from Saturday, and it's showing my run last year. So last year, in August 27th for X-Warrior, I did a 5:12 kilometer pace, and there on May 13th, I did a 4:51 kilometer pace. So I was about 20 seconds a kilometer quicker this year than I was last year. So it's a great tool to use to show your progress as an athlete, and something that you can use to get better. If you're going out and working out not knowing what you're doing, then you're kind of going nowhere. There's no focus, you're not going to achieve your goals. So using cool little tools like this, something simple, getting at any store, mech store, helps really progress your training on. The advice I'd give someone starting out in the sport is to set small goals. So it might be just to complete the race. Go through a race clean, making sure that you've just finished every obstacle that you can. Even though you might not have got the result you wanted, the top 5, if you've had fun, you've met some friends, that's the main thing you want to do. You want to have some fun. You can challenge yourself and push yourself, but if you're not having fun at the end of the day, you're not going to come back and keep doing what you love. So that's the advice I would give. So now I'm going to take you through my workout. So I've picked 12 stations here. I'm going to do a 400-meter run in between each station as I finish it. This is actually a workout that I use for the class that I teach here at City Fit Shop. So it's one that I love to bring. It's just trying to get as much of this done within an hour as you can. You don't have to finish the whole thing, but the 12 exercises I have is Stairway to Heaven, farmer carries, kettlebell swings, walls, monkey bars, rope climb, weighted lunges, burpees, half mile on the incline, so you want to get that hill work in. A lot of the OCR events are based on hills. Tip of the spear, traverse wall, and bear crawls. So I'm going to do an exercise. Once I complete it, I'm going to do a 400-meter run in between at about a tempo pace. So it's moderately hard, so you'll be a little bit out of breath, but not so much that you're in a full sprint. So for the treadmill, you always want to set it on at least 1%. That way it mimics more outdoor conditions, so like the wind blowing. At 0, it's a bit easier. Treadmills do help with your kickback, so it is a little bit easier, but it's still a good work. You stop the treadmill, be safe, use the handles, go to the side. Then we're going to do first circuit. I'm going to do some monkey bars to work on that grip strength. And then going back to the treadmill for another 400-meter run. So it really keeps that heart rate going. Your cardio is always in full capacity. So we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to do some lunges. So this is some single leg work, building that strength in the quads, helping with some hill climbing. If you've the strength to do a lot of single leg work, it will help with climbing hills. Running takes a long time to build up. I've personally been racing 3 years myself, and it takes a long time to build up that endurance. Year after year, just getting used to adding a bit more mileage. For running, you only want to add about, at max, 10% each week to prevent injury. If you keep your heart rate up and you do an obstacle, that's mimicking race day condition. It's better to go into obstacles a little bit fatigued than fresh. Just doing a rope climb. With the rope climb, a good technique is to get the J hook in. You stand on your feet, then climb up instead of using all upper body. This way it makes it less taxing and you won't fatigue as much. Always back to your run. As I mentioned, a big thing in OCR is grip strength. Way to work that is obviously monkey bars and stuff like that, but also just grabbing a pair of dumbbells and walking with it. Challenge that grip strength. For this one, you're gonna be nice and tall, keeping your abs tight, just walking nice and tall. So just doing some burpees. For burpees, you want to put your feet out back, chest to the ground, jump up. These are used as penalties as a lot of races. If you miss an obstacle, fail on the first attempt, you have to do either 20 or 30 burpees. This one really taxes your endurance system. It really taxes your cardio and strength. It works all your systems, so getting proficient at burpees and then running after is really good. I like to set my goals out at the start of the year. Usually one goal is to qualify for World Championship. So last year I got to qualify for and compete in the 2016 OCRWC, which is the obstacle course racing World Championships. And the year before I got to qualify for and compete in the Spartan World Championships. Typically I look for maybe a top 5 each year in an OCR event. And this year I wanted a top 10 in the obstacle course racing world, the X-Warrior series. So I got to achieve that. A personal goal I have for running is to run an 18-minute 5K. So I've been working on that for about a year now. So it's something that I will set towards the end of the year. I'll pick a goal race to try and achieve that. So what I want to be remembered for, first is being a family man and trying to spend as much time with my family, but in relation to OCR, it's just having a good attitude. I know I mentioned before, one of my weaknesses can be my negativity sometimes, and the mental aspect gets down to me, but it's always bringing it back and remembering why we're here, why we're doing it. I want to be remembered for someone that had fun in these races, and then someone who got better from when they started to where they are now. I personally think I did that. I got to keep my band at OCO World Championships, so that's a big thing you'll see in this obstacle course racing. If there's no penalties, you get given a band. If you get through all the obstacles, it doesn't get cut off. So that was a goal I had last year for the World Championships, so I kept that, so that's something I'm proud of. But yeah, just to be remembered for someone who had fun, who's open to community. I started teaching now here at City Fit Shop, so I want to welcome all newcomers into the sport. It's something I love, it's something I want to continue to do, and someone who's humble in what they do, and yeah, just to make as many friends as I can in the sport.